All right, when we're not in the cage, we're gonna hold the bat by the barrel. And we're gonna hold the bat by the barrel like this. You guys see this? Everybody watching? We're just hanging out. We don't want to twist it or move it because if you're not looking, you may hit somebody behind you. Okay? Raise your hand if you like to hit. Raise your hand if you like to hit. Perfect. Everybody loves to hit, right? Hitting's fun. Okay. So before we get started in hitting, we need to talk about the proper stance. Okay, the proper batting stance. Perfect. I'll call on you for a couple of questions when I have a couple questions. Let's talk about the batting stance, and we'll talk about what we do after the batting stance. Okay? So if you guys can just take a look at me over here, I'll make an imaginary home plate. All right, when we talk about the batting stance, we're going to talk about the bottom first, and then we'll build off on top of it. Raise your hand here if you've played with Legos before. Okay. What'd you build when you played with Legos?
Nothing.
Hold up. Can't remember? What'd you build?
I just built like ships and stuff.
Like what?
Like ships.
Ship?
Cars.
Cars?
Building.
Building. Someone built a building. What'd you build?
I don't build at all. I just play.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So let's listen up, guys, real quick. When we talk about hitting, it's kind of like playing with Legos. We start at the bottom, and if we build off the bottom, we can build a foundation. Okay, like building a house. Okay, if you want to have a house or a building that's got 10 stories, if the base and foundation is strong, you can build on top of it. Okay, very similar with hitting. Okay, so we'll start with our legs. We'll make sure our legs are nice and strong, and then we'll build on top of it. All right. With my stance, do I want a narrow stance? Do I want a really wide stance? Or do I want about a shoulder's width stance? Raise your hand. Raise your hand so I can call on you. You said you had all the answers.
Shoulders width.
Shoulders width, yeah, about shoulders width apart. So if I were to drop my shoulders down, all the way down, my feet are about where my shoulders would be, maybe slightly wider.
Oh, that's a squat.
Okay? Okay? That's gonna give you a good foundation. A good foundation. Okay? My toes should be pointed back to home plate. You guys see that? Here's home plate right here. I don't want my toes pointed to the pitcher when I'm in the stance, and I don't want my toes pointed to the catcher. Okay? Both those toes are pointed right back to home plate. Pretty simple there.
Yeah.
Everybody see the batter's box in the game? It looks like that. We want our toes to be parallel with that batter's box. So if I were to drop my bat and I were to put them right by my toes, if I move my feet, those two lines should make like an 11. Okay, that just basically means parallel. See how it makes an 11?
Yeah.
If I get into the batter's box, but one foot is on the line, the other foot's way out offside, see how now it doesn't make an 11? It makes like a V. It makes a V, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna be tough to hit. Okay, so when we step in the box, we're thinking shoulders width apart, toes pointed back to home plate, and then if we were to drop our bat, that bat makes a 11 with our the batter's box. Okay?
Dad taught me.
Perfect. Perfect. So you already know it.
No, it's a different thing. Okay, so the plate's right here.
Yep.
And you put your bat like this.
Yeah, you can do that too. That was going to be step 2. That's step 2. So how do I know if I should be right on the batter's box or further away? Okay, raise your hand. Yep.
You should put your bat right here when your toes up like right in front
You can. You can.
That's what I do.
Kind of a general rule of thumb is that once you get to your stance, if you were to just hold your bat up, it should be able to reach the outside corner. Okay? So here's the outside corner. If I'm standing up and I can point here, can my bat reach the outside corner? No, so I'm too far away. Too far away, so I'm gonna have to get a little bit closer. This gives you plate coverage. This gives you plate coverage, which means you can hit the pitches. Pitch down the middle, the pitch inside, and the pitch outside. Okay? So we talked about the legs. Now let's work our way up. Is there anything, by raising your hand, is there anything I should do with my knees that's a little bit, that will help me be in a little bit better position?
Slightly bend them.
Slightly bent them, correct. This will help out with balance, guys. This will help out with balance. If our knees aren't bent, I'm straight, it's gonna be tougher for me to stay balanced. Okay, very good. Hips are also gonna be square from the pitcher to the catcher. Same thing with our shoulder. We don't wanna get in the box. If the pitcher's that way, then get in the box like this. Okay, why would this be a bad stance? By raising your hand. Back there, Ranger's hat.
Your head might get hit by the ball.
Yeah, your head may get hit by the ball, and I can only really see the pitcher with just one eye. So it's tough for me to see the pitch. Okay, so let's make sure our shoulders are square. That way we can have two eyes on the ball. Okay? Anybody know where I should hold my hands? What's kind of the rule of thumb by raising your hand? Where should I hold my hands? Just by telling me. Don't. Okay. Just
your hands have to be by your ear.
kind of by your ear. Perfect, perfect. Think of an imaginary box, guys, from your top of your head over to your shoulder. See that box?
Yeah.
Anywhere inside that imaginary box will be good and strong. Is this inside the box?
Yeah.
What about this?
No.
This is pretty good. What about here?
No.
Here?
No. No.
Okay, so when you get to your stance, let's look at those checkpoints. Okay, toes pointed back to home plate. Feet, shoulders width apart. Remember your knees slightly bent. Shoulders square to the pitcher. Hands inside that box, right? Perfect, perfect. Also with our grip, we also want to make sure our elbows are relaxed. Okay? Anytime those elbows come up really high, like by your shoulders, it's going to be too tense to hit. Okay, so relax your arms just a little bit. Relax your arms just a little bit. All right? So we talked about the stance. All right, that's my batting stance. Now the pitch is going to come. What do I do next? By raising your hand. What's the first thing I do next? In the Dodgers hat.
You step, you lift up your foot and kind of step.
Okay, so you're going to stride. There's one thing that we actually do before the stride. He said we're going to stride. There's one thing we're going to do before the stride. What's that? Okay, he's talking about the load with the legs. Yeah, you're going to load, guys. The first thing you're going to do when you're in the stance, you're going to load. Okay? A load is as simple as thinking that this knob is a flashlight. Okay, so right now this flashlight's pointing on you. Now it's on you. You want to take this flashlight and point it right on the catcher.
Point it at the catcher.
Do you see that? Very simple. So right now it starts out kind of by your toes, and then we point it right at the catcher. That's step one. Okay, is the load. Step two will be the stride. When we stride, do we want to take a big stride or a smaller stride and softer stride? Yes, and then when we stride, do we want to stride to the pitcher, to home plate, or away from home plate? Pitcher, very good, guys, very good. You've got a lot of good coaching so far. Okay, step one, load. Step two, stride. Step three, we'll swing. When we swing, we need to keep our head down so our eyes stay on the ball. Okay, another thing you want to do is after you hit the ball and you stride, you don't want to move. Okay, you'll eventually run to first base, but we need to be balanced the whole way through. Okay, so we have good balance so we're not falling over. Watch my back heel too, guys. Stay right there, watch my back heel. What's going to happen when I swing?
Swish.
See how the heel comes up?
Swish.
That's going to allow me to use my hips and legs. Nice. 1, 2, 3, swing. 3, swing. 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 1, 2, 3, swing. I'm going to ask him some questions. Just like in school, you have a test. So this is like a pop. I know this is way more fun than school. This is like a pop quiz. Okay? Raise your hand if you could tell me something about your feet in the batting stance that you should do that we talked about. Let's listen. Let's listen, guys. Exactly. He said your toes should be parallel with the batter's box. That means if you were to take that bat down and you drop it there, it should line up with the batter's box. Parallel. Very good. What should you do with your knees? Raise your hand. Twins. Slightly bend them. You guys should get all A's in school. This is good. All right, what should you do with your hands when you're in the batting stance? Where should they be? Remember we talked about a term? By your ear inside that imaginary box. Very good, very good. 2 more and we'll be done. 2 more and we'll be done. What's the first thing you're going to do once you're in your stance? The very first thing you're going to do when that pitch comes?
Load.
Load. Excellent. What's next? You step or stride, and the last one you do is swing. Swing. You guys got it 100%. 100%.